The presence of women in science spans the earliest times of the history of science. Despite all the forces that tried to stunt progress of women in STEM fields, some of the greatest minds with their genius paved path for the future female scientists. We are enjoying the fruits of the women who sacrificed their lives in pursuit of science. Through this video, I want to talk about some of these women. When people talk about women in science, their first thought is almost always of Marie Curie. The first female scientist to receive 2 Nobel Prizes. Marie Curie, born as Maria Sklodowska, in Warsaw, Poland on 7th of November 1867, to a family of teachers who believed strongly in education. She moved to Paris to continue her education. And there, she met Pierre Curie, who became both her husband and colleague in the field of radioactivity. Together with her husband, she won a Nobel Prize for Physics in 1903, for their study into the spontaneous radiation. Following the tragic death of Pierre Curie in 1906, she took his place as professor in general science in University of Paris, the first time a woman held this position. In 1911, she won a Nobel Prize in chemistry for discovery of the 2 elements, radium and polonium. Doctors around the world uses radium to treat several types of cancer. Her invention of portable X-ray machine saved many lives during World War I. She made a pioneering work in radioactivity. But, unfortunately, the years of exposure to radiation led to her death. The next woman is considered to be the first programmer, even before the invention of modern computer. Ada Lovelace. She was an English mathematician and writer. She was considered as the first programmer, long before computers were invented. Ada was often ill, in beginning of her childhood. She experienced headaches and was paralyzed. Despite the illness, she developed her mathematical and technological skills. Ada met Charles Babbage through a mutual friend, and got fascinated by the computer prototype built by Babbage. They often met and discussed the future of computers. Ada published her notes describing an algorithm to compute sequence of Bernoulli's numbers. Based on this work, she is considered to be the first computer programmer, and her method was called world's first computer program. She believed that intuition and imagination were critical to effectively applying mathematical and scientific concepts. The calculations made by Next Scientist is responsible for putting America's first astronaut in space. Katherine Johnson. She was an American mathematician whose calculations of orbital mechanics as a NASA employee were critical to the success of first and subsequent U.S. crewed space flights. During her 35-year career at NASA, she earned a reputation for mastering complex manual calculations and helped pioneer the use of computers to perform the tasks. Her calculations were essential to the beginning of the Space Shuttle program, and she worked on plans for a mission to Mars. Her calculations were critical to the success of Apollo moon landing program. Her story was profiled in the movie Hidden Figures. One of the most famous product of the company Apple, Macintosh, is inspired by this next scientist. Adele Goldberg. She is a computer scientist, who participated in developing programming language Smalltalk 80. Along with her team, she developed the object-oriented approach of Simula 67, and introduced a programming environment of overlapping windows on graphic display screens. Once her superiors ordered her to give a demonstration of Smalltalk system to Steve Jobs, and Apple eventually used many of the ideas in Alto and their implementations, as basic for their Macintosh desktop environment. The next botanist in our video is responsible for making our lives more sweeter by making a new variety of sugarcane. Janaki Ammal. She was the first female Indian botanist. She is an expert in cytogenetics. Janaki worked on sugarcane biology and made the world's sweetest sugarcane. She worked on several hybrid species, and one of her invention was named after her. The small white flowers are called Magnolia cobus Janaki Ammal. These are some of the incredible women that changed the world with their inventions, and this is not the end. There are many forgotten women scientists in history, and it's high time to rejoice their amazing achievements.